So we finally made it back to this job site. It's been a while. I know we had some problems here with the ICF foundation. I sort of had some other things I had to do for a while, so now we're back. Weather's good, and I'd like to pour this slab in here, but in order to do that I need to do some plumbing. So we're gonna have a very small bathroom right there. It's gonna be a full bath. Well, it's a 3/4 bath. There's gonna be a shower stall in there, and then we got to put some radon tubes in here. We got to fill up all this area with stone, fill up that area. Then we're going to run some radiant heat. But the first thing we need to do is core drill through the foundation right there. The septic is right on the other side. So I could have easily put a sleeve in the foundation before I poured it, but it was just as easy. Since I own a core drill, I can just core drill that out with no problem. It takes a few minutes longer, but it saved some work back then, and we can do it now when the weather's better. Plus, I can think about the placement more instead of rushing it. So that's the first thing we're gonna do, get that core drilled. In the past, what I've done with the core drill is I have to cut out some of the foam in order to get to the concrete, and then you anchor the core drill to the concrete directly. But it makes a big patch that you gotta fill in afterwards. I'm gonna try something different this time. I'm going to try mounting a big piece of plywood, and then I'll take some construction lags and lag to the plywood. So I'll attach the plywood to the wall first with just some normal framing screws, and then we'll lag from the core drill into the pieces of plywood. I'll probably double up 2 pieces of 1/2-inch plywood, and I think that will work. Let's see. So I'm going to poke through right about there. And since we don't have power on site, I'm going to be using this Anchor Solix. This is good for up to 6,000 watts. And I got 20 amp outlets on here, which this core drill requires a 20 amp outlet. I have tried it on a 15 amp outlet and it does work, but once in a while you will trip the GFCI. But anytime you see that little prong going off that way, that's a 20 amp outlet. We're using a 6-inch bit on the core drill. We're going to feed it with water. I got my water here. I'm just going to do a siphon. I do have a little pump if I need it, but I think a siphon should work fine. We got 3 or 4 feet ahead there, so you can control the water right here. And this needs to be mounted first. that'd be perfect like that. Perfect, just like that. Maybe.
What else would you do?
You're supposed to attach it right here. But I like that better. If we do the... Let's see. Actually, we should do the bottom ones, if anything.
That one's like stuck.
Good. You're only in the foam. There you go. Now you're in the concrete. That's it.
It like stopped at that point.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
it
ribs.
is.
Now we know that that works. So much less work. And we only use like 3 or 4 gallons of water. And this thing was using 2200 watts to power that, so that's a little bit more than a 15 amp circuit. So if you guys are looking for an affordable way to core drill, I don't know if you can see that, but it says Blue Rock. That's where I got this from. And they're very reasonable when it comes time to this kind of stuff. I mean, if you're a professional doing this every day, maybe you want to upgrade from this, but I think they do have other versions of it too. But this thing is an absolute beast, and it's very affordable. Like, if you were to hire somebody to do this, the last time I checked into that, it was like $1,000 for them to show up. And if you wanted 1 hole or 6 holes or 10 holes, it was about the same price because you're paying for them to show up. For the price of 1 or 2 holes, you can just own the thing and then you don't ever have to worry about it. This is 15 inches long. I only needed 13 of it because that's how thick the wall is. But I have a whole bunch of different bits. This is 6. I have a 4, 3, 2, and a 1. And I have a different one that's handheld that you don't have to mount. And that handles everything from a 3-inch down to a 1-inch. But the name is Blue Rock, in case I forget to put the link in the description. I'm positive we hit rebar. Rebar? Rebar. Rebar. Just barely caught it though. Still, what did it take? 5 minutes? Not even? Even with the rebar? If it wasn't for the rebar, that'd be a 2-minute job. Alright, so I have a little bit of a sketch of how I want this to turn out when I'm done. There's basically just going to be a small little bathroom right here. It's just going to come out 4 feet, a little shower in the corner, little vanity, toilet, wall coming out here, just sort of a rectangle right here. So here's the sketch of how I want this to go. In the grids is the insulation. That's the underfloor insulation that also holds the radiant heat. But basically you can see I got this little bathroom right here. I got my 3-inch drain line coming over here. Gonna meet up here, have a clean out, and the rest of the house is gonna tie in right there, and then it's gonna exit out right here. So very basic. We need to come out with 4-inch pipe over here. Once we hit the foundation, we got to switch to 4-inch, but everything else is going to be 3-inch until we hit the bathroom, where it's going to switch to 2-inch and 1.5 inches for the sink. But this is a utility room right here. There's going to be a wall right here. The stairs are going to be right here. So I'm hoping, I haven't done any calculations, but I'm hoping that we can tuck any tanks underneath of the stairs, at least a water heating tank, possibly a buffer tank for the radiant heat system. Hopefully we can put those underneath the stairs. But in any case, right there will be my clean out, as well as my spot to tie in for the rest of the house, which most of the plumbing is going to be right over top of here. Because on the first floor there's going to be a bathroom right there, and on the second floor there's going to be a bathroom right there as well. So the only other thing in the house that would need plumbing is going to be the washer, which I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. Also, there's going to be a kitchen sink right over there. So code wants a clean out where it switches to 4-inch and it goes through the foundation. Usually you would put that on the inside, but that's not going to work because I'm making this area into a future bedroom. I'm not sure if I'll build it or not, but I'm going to set it up to have a bedroom. It's going to be an egress window right there. And so we don't want a clean out sticking out in the middle of the bedroom. So we're going to opt to put that on the outside, which we will deal with later. But the grade is not going to be very high right there because that window's right there. So the grade is just going to kind of be like that. Just enough to go over top of that pipe, about 18 inches maybe. Just so you guys know, if you don't see purple on here, that's because I'm not using primer, because this stuff doesn't need primer. Alright, so we got our stub out for the shower, vanity, toilet, vent. The shower will be wet vented through the vanity. Vanity only takes 1.5-inch pipe, so I ran 2-inch pipe. That will continue up for a vent to vent both the sink and the shower. But actually the sink can actually be vented from here, so really the wet vent is just for the shower. Anyways, also there's going to be a wall right here, so that vent goes right through the wall, up, connects to the other vent, and then out through the roof. So right there we'll come up and have a clean out, but that's way later on. Right now everything is stubbed out, ready to put some stone underneath and over top. And luckily I have just enough room right here to run another flexible 4-inch pipe for my radon control. So in my house I ran a pipe from the utility room all the way around and then back into it. It's really not necessary though. All you need is really just one that goes around, and then it can just be capped off. And actually you really don't even need it, honestly. There's no code that says that you have to have a pipe going around the perimeter for radon, but it does help dissipate the radon quicker if you have the pipe, and then that pipe can just be connected to the outdoors, most likely just passively. You could also put a fan on it too, but most likely don't need that. Although this is solid bedrock underneath here, and that's where you have the most radon, so we'll see. I have a radon meter that I can test it once we get all done. And really it's just a matter of, do we need a fan or not? Other than that, the other pipe will just be connected to the outdoors, and then you just don't have to do anything ever again to it. But anyways, we got this whole area to fill in. There's a lot of, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 yards. There's just a bunch of stone that we need to put in there and all the way over here. And so we're going to put it underneath the pipes, kind of tamp it down a little bit, and then we'll put it over top of the pipes. So I'm using number 1 stone because it's a lot easier to work with than number 2. And it's an engineered stone, so it means it's self-compacting. You don't really need to tamp it at all, but I do like to do it somewhat. But as far as the utilities that are going underneath the slab, this is it. I am going to have an air-to-water heat pump sitting right out there, and I could run another pipe going through here to take care of that, but you know, I don't really know where I want to come out over there with it yet, so I'm just going to skip that. For the air-to-water heat pump, we'll come in with our PEX lines through the wall, follow up the wall, over the ceiling, and then down. That way we don't have to guess where I want to be in here. Because I think electric, solar, little bit of plumbing, and then the rest is heating right there, but I'm not really sure yet. Okay, so this is the insulation I'm using under the slab, and it's specifically designed for radiant heat. I'm sure most of you have already seen this before. I've used it several times on my channel, but also a lot of other people use it too. So basically, this is 2 inches of solid EPS, and then it's got these little pucks. Well, those little pucks actually hold in your PEX for your radiant heat. So there's grids here that you can do various configurations. I'm going to do 12 inches on center for the radiant heat. And I only have enough of these for about half of the slab. These were left over from another project. But I do have some that I got from another company just because they were local. I didn't have to worry about shipping, and I could get a small amount that I needed to finish up. So those ones are green. I would stick with these though if you're going to get any of them. I've used these before a lot, and this company, Creatherm, actually there's some of the cheapest ones around too, but also they're good quality. So I'll leave a link in the description for these. And just never mind that I'm using the other ones. Like I said, it's only because I don't have to worry about shipping. I could buy them a half an hour down the road. And they're very similar, so they should lock up. So in the past, I've always butted them up to each other, but I've since then discovered that you're supposed to overlap them halfway. I don't think it really matters though, honestly. As long as you can get the radiant heat in there and everything stays in place, I really don't think it matters. But this time we're going to do the half stagger on them. done here, ready to pour here, just waiting on the truck. So I got a footing here that's going to go up and support a stack of LVLs, go up to the second floor, another stack of LVLs, and then go up to the ridge. So it'll support the floor as well as the ridge. So we got our plumbing here for the bathroom, and I insulated everything that wasn't already insulated, like the little bit of footing that's sticking out, a little bit over the pipe, just anything that's not insulated except for the footing. Everything else has insulation on it. Because I noticed in my house, I left that little bit with the footing exposed, and when I took my thermal camera, I noticed that there was a cold spot down there along the whole perimeter. So it's not really that big of a deal, but it probably collects a little bit of moisture because it's colder than everything else. So it lets the water vapors condense onto it. Again, not that big of a deal, but I figured let's just do it a little bit better this time. So for the radiant heat, we got 2 loops here. Each one is around 225 feet. So it's a pretty small basement. It's just 2 loops there. And I left the 1 loop for this side because we may make this a bedroom from here to here. So that'll be 1 loop. That way it can be controlled separately from the other loop over here, which is the rest of the basement. I put the pipes a little bit closer together here because it's hard to get them over next to the pipes. So I gave this bathroom just a few extra pipes here just to have a little bit more heat. Because in my opinion, you should probably run the pipes a little closer in the bathroom anyways, because you always want the bathroom a little bit warmer than everything else. So we'll have our wall go right down here. It's just 4 feet out and like 8 feet long. Very small bathroom, 32-inch shower, corner shower, one of those neo-angle showers. So we got our stop right here. So the concrete will come right out here, 4-inch slab, and then we'll be rocking and rolling pretty soon. Matter of fact, I hear the truck now.
They don't have.
You only have to reach out for a little bit. I like to kind of ease into the line, but it's just a little too much here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The camera's already hot.
Yes. It's something that's not right here.
I've never used this screed before, but I don't really like it.
That's what it might be for.
No, it's not flat enough on the bottom. All right, now I can use the bigger screed.
Might as well just try to shoot it a little bit out here. vertical bridge.
Alright, so right now I'm just waiting to do the last pass. It's pretty much finished though. That whole side had the sun on it, so that's done. But this whole side was behind the wall, so it didn't have sun on it, so it's not quite dry enough. So once that dries in a few minutes, I'll make another pass. But it went all right for 3 people. It's kind of a small slab, but at the same time, it's a little bit of extra work because there's a lot of in and outs on the wall, and a lot of it wasn't big enough to put the power screed in there. The sun was beating down, and the sun reflecting off those walls is brutal. It's like 85 degrees today, but in the sun, with it reflecting off of those walls, it's well over 100. So it kind kind of got out of hand over there. Before we were even done pouring over there, it was already set up over here. So we had to immediately put the power trowel in and start power trowel on that side. And now, of course, we're waiting on this side, and we'll try to blend them in together. The utility room I'm not worried about too much. That's a utility room. The bathroom's probably going to have tile. And then the stairs are going to go right here. And then there's really just not that much space left. What do you think, Noah?
I don't know.
So at this point, we're ready to start framing the floor and onward and upward from there. But I do have another project that I got to do, and I'm probably going to start that project first. I'm going to be building another house a little bit bigger than this. So we got to get going on that. I got to do a lot of site work. So I'm going to go over there and do the site work while we're waiting on building permits and stuff. And then once I'm done with the site work, I'll probably come back here and start framing this. And then I'll go back and forth between that house and this house. And it's not too far away either, so I can kind of work on one while I'm waiting on something for another, that sort of thing. So I got 2 houses to build this year, and I'm going to take on a little extra help to get them done quickly. Might hire out for some finish work as well, just to kind of get things really rolling so that both the houses are complete this year. So I got a lot of work on my hands. So at this point, we're going to start cleaning up. We're going to make that last pass and get out of here. And then I will see you guys on some other videos.